Welcome to the Victory Podcast. Before we get started, we're going to make an announcement.
Good morning. My name is Shelly Fields, and thank you so much for having me on your show this morning.
You're welcome. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful, wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see your face. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. Well, before we get started, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself
Hmm,
so that the viewers can have a little bit knowledge about who you are.
okay, ready?
Yeah.
Well, good morning. My name is Shelly Fields. I currently reside in Virginia. I am the promoter for the NANBF Virginia Natural Classic. It's going to be our first year having this show out here in the Northeast, and I'm pretty excited to make a really great experience for the competitors. We're really working hard, going above and beyond to make sure that all the athletes have a really great experience with us.
Oh, that's good. Just congrats, your first show.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. I'm gonna ask, how is the preparation going? What have you put in place, and the the dates, and how's the preparation going?
So the preparation is going, actually, it's going pretty good thus far. We've got all our promoters, we've got all our vendors in
Okay.
place, we've got all our sponsors in place, we've got our venue secured.
Oh
We are
wow.
actually opening our box office the first week of July for admission tickets.
Wow.
The athletes, the registrations are coming in slowly, but as a competitor myself, when I competed, I waited till the last month to turn in registration. So we know how that goes. As competitors, we know how that goes. Um, but we're really looking forward to, a really great turnout. The buzz is strong around the Richmond area where I live. So people are, excited to come check us out. So I'm really looking forward to the event.
Okay, I'm excited for you too. So you mentioned about competing. Can you tell us how you got started competing? How many shows? And along the line when you earned your pro card.
So I competed for 23 years,
Oh
long
my
time.
god! Oh my god!
Most
Okay,
of
I'm
my
still a
adult life.
baby.
I did my first show when I was 32. 1998 was my first show.
Okay.
And then my last show was in 2017. And I took a break in between that time when I had my son and, got married and stuff. I took a break from competing for a while just to get back into normalcy. But
Hmm.
it's just such a great form of discipline
Yeah.
that I miss it when I'm not in it because it gives structure to your days.
Yes.
You got to get up in the morning, you got to get your cardio done, you got to get your first meal in, you got to, go to work if you go to work, you get off work, you do your training, you do your cardio, you come home, you sit down, you prepare all your food, and you go to bed.
Yeah.
you know, and you wake
That's
up the
pretty
next
much the
day and
schedule.
yep,
Yep.
and that's one of the things that I'm grateful for being in the sport for so long, that I'm able to take away and implement into my clients I train right now.
Oh, okay.
The form of discipline. And if you miss a day, if you mess up on your meal plan, don't beat yourself up. Just get up and keep going. You
Yep.
know, um, don't sit there and feel like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't make it. Don't. It's a mindset. You've got to
Yeah.
get your mind in the right place if you're going to be a competitor,
Yes.
because the internet will give you a false perception of what competing truly is.
Yes.
You have to actually live it yourself to experience it yourself, and everybody's experience is totally different.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's totally different. Some people have a great time with it, some people don't because they just can't really stick to a rigid plan. Because competing, you have to be rigid because you can't
Yep.
deviate from what your plan puts there for you or what your
Yes.
coach gives you. So you
Yep.
have to stick to it to a T to get the results that you want.
Exactly.
So, and that's one of the things that kept me in it for so long is, not just changing my going from off season with the fluffiness to come into being able to train and sculpt your physique, you
Mm,
know, to another
mm.
level that is beyond
Yes.
the eye, you know.
Yes.
And you have to have a vision. You got to see yourself how you want to be on stage.
Oh,
If
okay.
you can get that vision from the start and just keep that in your mind as you are prepping, the
Mm-hmm.
changes, I mean, your body just changes. You relax, you're focused, and you can't let the distractions come to detour you, because that's where your body starts, you
Mm-hmm.
stressing, you start holding cortisol, your weight's not dropping, your body's not changing. So
Yeah.
it's all a mental thing. You have to get your mind in the right place if you're going
Okay.
to be competing.
Okay, so I'm just gonna come in right here. So do you
Mhm.
remember how many shows you competed in? Do you have an idea? Do you remember? And do you
uh
remember
I
your
would say
pro?
probably about, ooh, maybe I would say maybe roughly about maybe 25 or 30 throughout the years.
Oh wow. Okay, so in all the shows, how long did you compete before you got your pro card?
So I did the Masters Nationals, but I
Okay.
never got the pro card. I was a couple points away from it.
Oh,
So I never got the, yeah, so I never got the pro card, but the just getting up to that point, just getting up to that point was so ecstatic, being able to be on stage with these women from all around the world. And that,
oh
yeah, it
wow.
was the world because it was open to
Oh wow.
it open to everyone, my last show. So
Uh-huh.
it was amazing to be on stage with these women, and when I got done, I was like, wow, okay, I was 52 when I did my last show. So yes, I'll be 58 this year.
52. That was your last show? Oh
Yes, ma'am.
boy. I will give it to you. Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, I was 58. I was 52 when I did my last show. And now I'm at the point in my life where I still love to train,
Hmm.
and I'm just taking what I've learned and my experience and my knowledge and imparting it into my clients that I train right now and prep right now. So,
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So we're gonna dive into training your client. So you do you have a business or you so tell us about that.
so I do have a business. I have a business in Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Okay.
I do in-person training and I do online training. I do competition prep and I do just, normal people that just want to look good, feel good, drop some body fat and just everyday lifestyle.
Oh
And
wow.
so everybody that comes in, they have a different goal. So
Yes.
depending on their goal, I would structure their programs for them, because
Okay.
an athlete that I'm training and prepping will be totally different than, somebody
Yes.
that just wants to work out, look good, and feel good.
Yes. So, did you start this business while you were still competing or after you were done
No,
competing?
I started this business after I've had it for 2 years now. So
Oh,
after
okay.
I've done competing. Hmm.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to understand. You've competed for 20 something years, right?
Hmm.
How are you able to manage family, work, prep? How are you able to manage all that?
So my husband was very, very supportive. You really need that. You need family support. That's the first and foremost thing I tell people when they want to compete. You've got to have family support. If you're
Okay.
single, that's different. But if you're married, you got to have a husband or a partner who supports what you do. That
Mm-hmm.
way, it takes so much off of you as the competitor, having to spend so much time in the gym, having to spend time prepping food that they don't want to eat.
Right.
you know so so it takes a lot away from the family life, but as long as you have someone that's supportive, that's saying, you know what, I'll cook your chicken breast for you, or I'll put the salmon on the
Mhm.
grill for you. It makes
Yeah.
life so much easier when you have to prep. You don't have to worry about, you can buy your stuff for your kids still, because when you get older you really don't want to eat that stuff anyway, but when
Mhm.
you have older, your spouse or your significant other, you really want to take them into consideration as well.
That's
You
true.
know,
That
you
is
know,
so.
because
So
the
how did the
Bible.
kids? Sorry to cut you. How did the kids get on board?
Well, my son, I have one child. My son's 30. He'll be 31 next week,
Okay.
and he was 5 when I first started, and it was elating for him to come to my shows.
Oh.
He would be so souped up to be like, Mom's going to compete. Mom's strong. You'd always say, Mom's
Listen.
strong. Mom's strong. And tell his friends and stuff like that. And he was always so excited to bring my trophies home and my swords. And, it was more like for him than for me, per se. But, but it was a very good balance for me in my life when I was competing because my family understood what I did and they
Yes.
supported what I did. So it made it
Yes.
a lot easier for me to do it. When I have competitors now, that's one of the things when I consult with them, I
Good.
I talk to them about because I've had clients where the spouse wasn't on board, and they were messing up their prep and their food and they had to drop off because mentally they couldn't focus.
Yes.
So, that's one of the things that I sit down and that's the first thing we discuss.
So, question: how do you handle a client that wants to compete and the spouse is not on board? How do
So,
you handle that
so
situation?
what I tell them is bring their husband to, if the husband already is a member at the gym, come and have him work out with you. Have
Okay.
him see what you do. Because a lot of times when you include them, and all it is just a simple inclusion,
Oh, okay.
because I mean, to be transparent, bodybuilding can be a very selfish sport. It can be
Yeah,
because it's all
it is.
about me. And I try to be transparent when I talk to clients because they appreciate it and they know what they're getting into. Especially if you haven't competed before.
Yes.
You don't know. We get all hooked on the look and how good we look and the compliments we get that we forget that we are humans, our families are, their feelings matter too, So I try to always let my clients include their spouse or their
Okay.
significant other because once they feel like they're part of what you're doing, then they don't feel left out because that's the main problem. They feel left out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
once you include them, it makes it a whole lot easy for them to support what you're doing and explain to them what's expected and what, the things to look for, and just be mindful of you don't have to be grumpy all the day, every day. You chose
Yeah.
to do this. So you don't have to be grumpy to your spouse or your significant other.
Well, when you're low cost, you're grumpy.
But I always let them know this is a choice that you made,
Yes, you're right.
So it's a choice.
So earlier you mentioned about being able to visualize your final look on stage.
Mhm.
Now, is that true for a newbie or someone who's done it for about 3 to 5 years?
So that's for everybody.
Oh, okay.
To give everybody that mind vision. Vision yourself how you want to look on stage. I said, because once you have that vision on how you want to look on stage, you can work towards that. Because if you pick a show and you just like, you don't have no clue how you want to look, you you're very confused throughout the prep, and especially when you don't see the changes that you want to see, then you get discouraged, because along the way you're going to get some distractions, life happens, you know,
Uh-huh.
you get curveballs thrown at you, and you have to be able to mentally push through that, still thinking about, okay, this is how I want to look on stage. That's what grabs people. That's what keeps people grounded. That's what forward when they know what and how they want to look on stage.
Well, my first time competing, I did
Hmm.
not have an idea what I was going to look like.
Okay.
So, I mean, my coach told me, well, you're gonna be lean, you'll be defined. And I went online, saw some pictures. I went to a show. I saw what the athletes look like. But then I was still like trying to figure out how I will look myself. I saw those
Mhm.
bodies, but I have not seen that look on my body.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so I got super curious. I was asking a lot of questions and
Hmm.
I was like, and I feel like at some point I was like doing a little bit more than expected because I
Hmm.
remember getting super lean way ahead of time. And my coach was
Yep.
like, what are you doing? I said,
Hmm.
well, I don't know what's going on, but hey. So he was like, no, this is it. But I feel like after my first show and I saw the whole package on
Package.
stage,
Hmm.
it gave me a better idea of my next show. It's like, okay, this is the process. This is what's going to happen. This
Exactly.
is how I'm going to look, or this is what we're changing. So, I mean, even now, I heard, and you helped me confirm that every stage, every time you get on stage, you look different. Is that
You
true?
do. That is
Okay.
so true. Because the more you compete and the more muscle you put on is the more mature your muscles get. So
Oh.
you may not have to do as much cardio as you did the first show around because of the
Oh.
condition you may have stayed in your off season.
Mhm.
Some people like me, I love food. I'll tell you, I love food. So, when I get done, my coach used to say, Shelly, you would get so heavy in the off season. I said, well, I just got to work harder, you know. But he knew my body inside out, so that's why I think I just let him deal with that. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I knew that each time that I got on stage, I knew I would look different than I did the previous show
Okay.
because I didn't stop training. I was still training heavier, still doing my cardio, my off-season cardio, everything I needed to do. It's just my calorie intake was a little bit higher than he anticipated that he wanted it to be, but it's okay, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, every time you step on stage, your body should look different than when you did your previous show.
Okay.
And that
So,
all comes down to training. That all comes down to how you train too.
okay. So your off season, what was your off season like? Like, were you how many pounds heavier, or what
So I
was your?
would compete at about 170, and then my off season would be about 200, 215, sometimes 220. But it felt comfortable to me,
What division?
heavyweight. Now I competed. Now let me give you my history for competing. I
Okay.
started in bodybuilding. Then when they introduced women's figure for the first time with the one-piece suit, I
Uh huh.
transitioned to figure. And then, oh, an amazing transformation. I didn't think I could do it. My coach and I, we were like, well, let's give it a try and see how we do. And then they came up with women's physique,
Uh huh.
and I love the posing. See, that's what brought me back to that aspect of it. They came up with women's physique, and I love posing, so I transitioned to women's physique. But my struggle with competing with the judges was they knew me as a bodybuilder. So
Oh,
every time I got on stage, all they could see was a bodybuilder.
bodybuilder.
And that was my feedback. That was my feedback from them. Charlie, we know you as a bodybuilder. So to see you transition from bodybuilding to figure, we were like, what is she doing? And then I went to women's physique because I love posing and I didn't want to push my body to the extreme of getting massive, and losing my femininity.
Yeah.
So that's why I went back to women's physique. But my last show I did in 2017, I did it as a bodybuilder. And I still was like one of the smallest girls on stage because I just don't have that capacity to put on that kind of muscle,
Mhm.
So yeah.
Oh wow. So,
Yeah.
what is your advice when it comes to switching divisions, and or what do you tell
So,
your client?
and a lot of people like to switch divisions because they're just trying to find their fit. For me, I didn't want to get too big.
Okay.
So when I got to the size that I felt was big enough for me and they introduced figure, I downsized to figure.
Okay.
But when I did the figure, I realized, man, I'm missing the posing. I love posing, you know.
Right.
I love posing. And then they brought women's physique. I said, okay, that's where I'll go. And then when I did my first physique show, I did pretty well. But then when I went to the nationals, they kept telling me, Shelly, we know you're a bodybuilder. We know you're a bodybuilder. So yeah, so it was pretty confusing for me. But then I said, you know what? It's my body. I'm just gonna go and do what makes me happy. And
Exactly.
yeah, so I did my last show in 2017, and then when I got done with that, I said, okay, I've competed for 20 something years. I've had my coach for 15 years. I mean, people know me in the NPC. It's crazy. And now that I'm with the NANBF, it's a beautiful place for me.
Okay.
It's a beautiful place for me. You
All
know,
right. Talking about that, what made you go for an AMBF? Or how did that all?
because I love the look of the athletes.
Okay.
I really do. I love the look of the athletes. It's streamlined, it's softer, you know, and especially with the women, it's more feminine. It just has a great flow to it. And not to mention the president and the vice president. And I mean, they're just wonderful people to work with. Wonderful people.
Okay. So is that what got you also um stepping into promoting for them, or how
Well, you
did
know
you
what? The
that?
reason I got into promoting is because of all my years of competing. I
Okay.
just wanted, and from seeing shows and being at shows,
Mm-hmm.
that I can take away what I like and what I don't like to make my show be an experience for the athletes.
That's true. That
Yeah.
is so true.
Yeah.
Tell me about your life as a judge.
Well, it has been, it'll be my first time because I just recently got certified with them as a judge. So it'll be my
Okay.
first time coming up. But from me, from the experience that I've had looking at athletes, and even when I went to shows and I go to shows and I sit down and I look at athletes, and it's just nice to kind of say, okay, this person looks good. This person is really conditioned. This person, it's nice to sit down and pick your first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really, it's a good experience. It's a good experience.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Okay, now that you are not competing, you got your business. How is family life and handling all your clients? How is that working out for you now?
Family life is wonderful. I have no complaints. I'm enjoying my grandkids. I'm enjoying my grandkids. My business is actually doing pretty good. We're working on some transitions coming up in the next month and with another company. So we're working on that right now. My clientele is pretty steady. It's pretty
Okay.
steady right now. I have a steady group of clients. I have some new ones that come in. It's come in, they stay for a while, and then they drop off. It's the nature
Yeah.
of the business.
Yeah.
So you just have to go with the flow.
All right.
you know, you have to go with the flow. But it's been good. It's been good. I have no complaints, no regrets about anything that I've done throughout the years in the fitness industry, and my heart and my soul is in it. I give my clients 150% of my time. The only thing I ask is that they are committed and that they show up.
Yes.
I give
Yes.
them all the tools they need to be successful in their journey. They just have to commit, show up, and do the
Mhm.
work.
Oh, that's true. That is so true. Do the work. Um, I'm curious about the nutrition plan.
Hmm.
Um, what what does it look like for your clients? How
So
do
it
you work that out?
now would it be for an athlete or just a normal person just wanting to work out and look good? Both.
Normal person and an athlete.
Okay. So for an athlete, it would depend on where their body's at, body fat wise, their condition
Okay.
when they start. Um,
Mhm.
and I do a variety of programs. I do the keto. I try my macros. I do the carb cycle. I do it
Oh,
all.
oh,
So yeah, I do it all. So, their body is in constant guesswork, constant guesswork, constant guesswork.
oh,
So it keeps the body fat just coming off. I'll start them off with, high calories just to get their body going, especially if they've never competed and they're not used to eating 5, 6 meals a day.
I, I remember
You know,
that. I'm like,
yeah,
wait, what?
yes. It can be a huge struggle for, a first timer when they first get started as an athlete wanting to compete. So it just gives the introduction, the calories, the introduction into their body to get their metabolism going because most times their metabolism is slow because they're not
Yeah,
consuming enough food. Um, and their muscle mass is just not there because of the lack of protein intake also.
yes.
So, and then my normal clients that just want to work out and feel good, their calories are a little bit different, their food is a little bit different. They have a little bit more of a choice
Oh,
versus the athlete,
yeah,
and they still get to shed their weight and they just don't have that bulk look to cut defined look to them. Some of them may want
yeah,
it, but they're not ready to be that disciplined with the food to get
yeah,
it. You
yes.
know, but it's all, and I sit down and I've had this conversation with a couple clients, it's all a mindset.
Mm, 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 mm.
It's all a mindset. You put your mind to it, you can do it. If you come into it with, well, I don't know, or, well, I don't think this is going to
Right.
happen, you know, you already set yourself up for failure, you
That's true.
know?
That is
So,
true.
and this is conversations I have with all my clients. You got to have the right mindset, and not just as an athlete, but just as somebody wanting to work out and get in shape. You
Mhm.
have to have the right mindset
That
to
is true.
achieve the goals, and not just fitness, just it's everyday life.
Hmm.
You got to have the right mindset.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
you are so amazing. I am inspired to hear all your stories. Wow, 20 something years. I still got a long way to go. So we're gonna go ahead and ask you, the viewers, I'm sure, want to know three good tips from you, okay,
Mhm.
about their fitness journeys. Any useful tip that is gonna help them.
Absolutely. The first tip I would recommend for anybody wanting to compete, get a good coach. Get a
Oh,
coach. Okay, establish a relationship with this coach where you can be very transparent with your coach and this coach can be transparent with you.
that's true.
um, you have to have thick skin, number two,
Okay.
because you're not going to always hear from your coach what you want to hear. Okay, if you have a good coach who is truly wanting you to be successful and succeed in this sport, they're going to be
Yes.
have to be transparent with you, and you have to be willing to receive that transparency without getting in your feelings. Um,
That's wrong.
but it's true,
It's
And
true.
then third is be consistent. Be consistent.
Hmm.
Be consistent. Get a plan, stick to the plan, and execute the plan. The plan works if you work the plan.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And those are really good, amazing tips. Now, that's for the people who compete. What about the
Okay.
regular people?
Even the regular people that just want to look good, find a place where you feel like you can be a part of a community. I
Yes.
am big on community. Um, get a place of community, a trainer who can sit down and talk to you about your needs and your goals, what you
Mm,
want to achieve, and a trainer that would not be someone who would let you slide easily.
mm.
Because a lot of trainers, we can take people's money, but when you pay me for a service, I expect certain things from you.
Exactly.
So we set the expectations with our clients. What do you expect from me? And I can tell you what I expect from you.
Right.
And that's how you can work together to achieve, your goal, because you're not
Mm,
going into it with misguided expectations,
that's true.
unrealistic expectations. Because even as a regular fitness enthusiast, you have a goal that you want to set yourself. So
Yes.
if you sit down with your trainer and they're totally honest with you and can be transparent with you, they can tell you, well, okay, we can achieve this in such and such a time.
Yep.
If you come in and say you want to do this in 3 months, I'm like, no, that's not going to happen in 3 months. It's a process.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's a fitness journey. It's your fitness journey, and I'm here to walk alongside you in your journey.
Exactly. That is a very good tips. Thank you so much for all those tips. Oh my goodness. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Obviously, we're going to be talking for hours, if not days. But hey, we got to keep it short and sweet. So
Sweet.
thank you so much for coming on the
Absolutely.
Tree podcast. And thank you for selecting me as one of your athletes on your flyers. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. Yep, you
Um,
will certainly be an athlete on one of my flyers. You guys will certainly be on there.
all right. You are amazing. I've seen some of your pictures on stage. Oh my God. Ugh. And to think you did this all till 52, I'm
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
a lot of viewers out there listening to your story will definitely be inspired and will just keep pushing and keep the motivation going. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much for coming on
Yes,
the
thank
show.
you for having me.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make a quick announcement on our own show. We have the Tucson Multiverse Naturals Classic viewers coming up November 11th, 2023, 10 a.m. So please, 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 if you have friends, family who compete, this is an amazing opportunity for athletes to come earn your pro cards, first timers to come on stage and enjoy and see what it feels like to be a competitor. So please, if you want flyers from both shows that we announced on this podcast, please let us know. We will send it out to you. And that will be it for today. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
coming. All
It
right,
was a
have a good one,
pleasure.
okay?
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.